All right, here we go. Protect and Provide. Podcast number 1. Hey, Brian Adams here. I've been talking about this for a long time. I wrote this book over a year ago. I'm going to eventually do the audio, but the book's not enough. The audio's not enough. I want to do a weekly, maybe even twice a week podcast. Eventually, it's going to be live. I'm going to bring on different guests. But for right now, I just want to go through the book. Let's just go through the book together. Every week, I'm going to do a different chapter in the book. So this first one is just going through the acknowledgments and the introduction. We're going to start with dedication. This book is dedicated for the man who built me the hard way, through tough words, long days, and high standards. To my wife, who never asked me to be perfect, she just asked me to show up. She got me to all the kids' events, shows, dance recitals, all of that. She made sure I didn't work through it and miss any of it. For my daughters, who made me want to be a better man than I was yesterday. My voice recorder on my phone, even on the old cassette tape recorders that we had back in the day, it always said, make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. Always do better. That's how we judge it. I mean, that's how I judge it. I don't compete against other people. I'm competing against myself. And for every man holding this book, your family, your faith, and your future are waiting. Go protect, provide, and persevere. Acknowledgments. To the men I worked beside who expected more out of me than I expected out of myself. The ones who yelled at me, corrected me, pushed me, and never let me settle for good enough. You made me tougher, sharper, and stronger than I would have ever made myself. Good enough. Man, there's a movie everyone should watch several times. It's called Whiplash. He's a music teacher, and he pushes the students. And I love his teaching style. He's cussing, throwing things, screaming. He's an extreme jerk. But he pushes the students to become the best they can be. He says the two most dangerous words in the English language is good job. Never settle for good job. You don't get credit for doing shit you should do. This book, this podcast, is for men who want to be better than ordinary, better than good job. This is for the men who want to be everything they can be. And how do you know what you can be? You only know what you can be by pushing yourself harder than you pushed yourself yesterday, for failing over and over and over again. That's just it, man. Every day you wake up and try to fail, period. Every day you try to wake up and do more than you could do. And the only way you know what you can do is by pushing yourself so hard you fall, you fail. That's it. The acknowledgement is, but to the greatest acknowledgement of all goes to martial arts. Everything I am, everything I have, and everything I've ever built, I owe, and traces back to the discipline and the focus, humility I've learned on the mat. It all came from martial arts. You cannot fake self-esteem. It's got to be earned. You cannot fake confidence or courage. That's got to be tested. The 40 years I've spent in martial arts have given me the self-esteem, courage, and confidence to stand up for what I believe in, to resist peer pressure, and to be a light for others. Showing that doing what's right is worth it no matter the cost. And most of all, I thank God for the wisdom to lead me into martial arts, for giving me the hard life I needed to overcome, and for knowing exactly what to put in my path to build the man he needed and capable of leading by example. I don't want to hear your sob stories. We all got a story. We all got a story. My dad was never around. My mom was an extreme abusive alcoholic. I had 2 brothers, 2 sisters. It's like I'll tell you this story here. When I was 9 years old, we grew up in the projects. That's the apartment that the government's paid for. every Sunday morning, I would be dressed in my best clothes, standing out on the sidewalk, because the church bus would come through and pick you up, take you to church. And back then, you used to get dressed up to go to church. Nowadays, you just wear whatever you can, whatever you want, flip-flops, doesn't matter. But back then, you kind of got dressed up. So I'd put on whatever I thought was my best clothes, and I'd be outside Sunday morning waiting on the church bus. It'd pick you up, take you to church, bring you back, and drop you off. And when you got off the church bus, it gave you a candy bar. So I was like, killing two birds with one stone. So I was stepping off the church bus one Sunday morning, and the bus driver yelled at me, "Hey, Brian." And I turned around, I looked at him. I was holding on to that candy bar. I wasn't giving it back. And he looked at me, and he said, "What you going to be when you grow up?" And I looked at him, the bus driver, and I looked at this apartment that I was getting ready to walk into, and I looked back to him, and I said, "I don't have a clue what I'm going to do when I grow up, but I know exactly what I'm not going to do." He kind of grinned, nodded his head, and shut the door and drove away. Because I knew at that point, 9 years old, I wasn't going to be what was in the house. My house, I told you, my mom was an alcoholic. Our house was the party house. Every Saturday night, my mom would get drunk with all her friends, and I didn't want to be there when they woke up. The drunks woke up. So being outside waiting on that church bus was my way out. But when he asked me what was I going to be when I grew up, I didn't have a clue. I'm 60-something years old right now. I still don't have a clue what I'm going to do when I grow up. I just knew at that point what I was not going to do. And that's molded me even at the age of 9. So that was like a seed God planted even way back then. I knew what I wasn't going to do. Author's warning. In 1982, I was 18 years old, working in construction, and I worked with two old men. One was 71 and the other was 73. They were World War II vets and tough as nails. I looked up to those dudes, man. To me, they were real men, like John Wayne type men, right? And today I tell the young guys that I trained in construction. I said, man, if I talk to you guys the way those dudes talk to me, I'd be arrested. I mean, they gave me hell every day, called me names. I ain't going to repeat the names right here. And had no problem popping me back in the head and telling me, hell no, that looks like garbage. Do it again. You can do better. You can do better. Do it again. And they, it's just over and over again. Somehow, I knew they cared. Maybe even they loved me. I don't remember them ever giving me any compliments, but I know the guys that they didn't rag on didn't stick around too long. So and I even tell guys that now. I said, look, dude, if I'm not picking on you, if I'm not popping you in the back of the head, if I'm not calling you retard, you probably ain't gonna be around long. I'm talking to you like that because I expect more out of you than you expect out of yourself. That's what this freaking podcast is about. Everyone watching this, everybody watching this right now, I may not know you, but I know we have something in common. And that is you're going through something right now in life. You're either going through something, you just came out of something, or you're headed for something. But we all go through something. And I don't know what it is, but I expect more out of you than you expect out of yourself. So so I knew they treated me like that because they believed in me. They wanted more out of me than I wanted for myself. They wanted me to be better. They knew I could do more than I was doing. And no one had ever told me that growing up. They would share stories with me from the time when they were in World War II. One of their favorite stories that I enjoyed hearing is we used to work in this security behind it. You had the security guard. You had to drive in through the gates. Real nice area down in Newport Beach. It's where John Wayne lived at the end of the street. We worked in that neighborhood, and they would tell me stories about John Wayne coming down at the end of the day, 4 p.m. John Wayne would walk down with a case of Budweiser and a fifth of Jack Daniels, and he'd say, "It's quitting time, boys." And they'd quit, right? They'd turn off the saws, they'd stop what they were doing, and they'd all sit around and have a beer with John Wayne as he drank Jack Daniels, and and he talk stories about being on the set, but mostly he wanted to hear about them and what they were doing and what they were building, and it just seemed real to me. I loved hearing that stuff. So the author's warning is, I think about those stories. I think about the guys. There's two of them, and I only remember one of them's name was Brownie. I don't know when they passed away. I got another job somewhere after 3 years working with them. But the time that I worked with them had an impact on me. God put those men in my life when I needed them. I hope I can be those men to you, to the boys, to the men reading this book, watching these podcasts. I wish I was around to pop you in the back of the head, not just this video. I'm gonna be talking shit to you through this video, but I want to be the one to say, no, man, you can do better. No, you can be. Don't settle for good enough. Don't ever settle. Comfort kills. Nothing worse than being comfortable. Don't get comfortable in life. And let me make this clear. This is not a feel-good motivational book. This is not a feel-good motivational podcast. It's not it's not meant to be polite. It's man up, and I'm going to call you out. I'm going to demand more of you than you probably given. It will push you, take the responsibility to stop making excuses and to do the hard work that actually builds a life worth living. So if you're ready to stop making excuses and start doing the work, turn the page, don't pretend, walk away. This book is for the men who are willing to show up. These podcasts are for the men willing to show up. Because right now, you're hearing a lot of shit about masculinity and what it means to be a man. And it's pretty damn easy to be a man. You do all you can do all the time. Never settle for good enough. Always know you can do better than you did yesterday. Always. Let's go into the introduction. What the hell did I wrote this over a year ago? I don't even remember. What did I say? I never really had a dad. I never had a son. This book, these things, these podcasts, these are the things I wish my dad would have taught me early in life, and the same things I would have taught my son. I do have daughters, but your role as a father is not to teach your daughter how to be a woman. That's up to her mother. Your duty is to be the best man you can be and to choose the best woman to raise and teach your daughter. This book is for the men who want to do better. Not perfect men, not soft men, not men who have figured it all out, because you're never going to figure it all out. It's for the ones who are still learning, who've made mistakes, and who want to live up to the potential before it's too late. Everything in these pages, everything in these podcasts to come, comes from experience, over 40 years of building businesses, coaching men, teaching martial arts, making mistakes, and getting back up. It's not a theory. It's not a philosophy. It's real life. Look, man, I love all the Rocky movies. All of them. I mean, number one, I guess, right? Everybody's favorite number one. For me, I think it's number 4 and number 5. Rocky 5 is, he's retired and he's teaching, or he's helping, I can't even think of the guy's name, but he was actually a real boxer. But he's teaching this guy the ropes and the business of Tommy. Big Tommy was his name in the movie. But he's helping him become a boxer. Brings him into his house, all that stuff. But then Tommy goes off with some dude, the promoter, kind of like Don King, got the hair and all that stuff, and he thinks Rocky's holding him back and all this stuff, and really ends up hurting Rocky's feelings. So near the end of the movie, there's no last fight like in all the other Rockies, but they're in the parking lot, and this Don King dude is talking crap and trying to get them to fight each other. And Rocky's like, dude, I ain't going to fight you. You're like a son to me. I'm not going to fight you. And this dude, Tommy, is talking shit. And he says something about his family or whatever. And so then they square off. They're getting ready to fight. And this Don King dude character is telling him, It's a street fight. This ain't no boxing match. It's a street fight. You can't be doing no street fight. So they get into it, right? So they're fighting back and forth, boom, boom, knocking each other, bam. And it looks like, again, like all the Rocky movies, Tommy hits Rocky, bam. And it looks like the fight's over. And Tommy's walking away. And then you hear the music change. Ding. And Rocky's on the ground, right? And reaches up and he grabs the hood of the car. And he pulls himself up slowly. And now I'm fired up. I'm in the theater screaming, "Come on, Rocky! Come on, Rocky!" Like all the movies, right? And finally, and Tommy turns around and looks at him, and Rocky's like, "Hey, Tommy, I ain't hear no bell." And I'm like, "Oh shit! Get him, Rocky! Get him!" And then Rocky proceeds to whip his ass. And then he goes over to this Don King dude, and he's like all smug and like, "If you hit me, I'll sue you. If you hit me, I'll sue you." And Rocky's like, "I ain't got nothing left. What you gonna sue me for?" Woo! And knocks him out, right? But that's what I'm telling you, man, is the one thing I can promise you is life is not gonna be fair. Get that shit out of your system right now. It will not be fair. And life is gonna knock you. Every day, life is going to try to knock you out. And all I can tell you is when it seems like that's it. You can't do no more. You can't go on. You can't take no more. You've got to find it in you somehow, some way to pull yourself up. And maybe it's this book. Maybe it's these podcasts. But you got to tell yourself, and you got to look at life the way Rocky looked at Tommy and said, I ain't hear no bell. And hear the music, man. Have that music on your iPad, whatever it is. You don't hear no bell, man. Where was I at? You made mistakes. Everything in these pages comes something serious. This is not philosophy. This is real life. Over the years, I've studied from some of the greatest minds in business, faith, health, and philosophies. Those lessons, combined with hard work, discipline, and a few battle scars, have shaped me into who I am today. Man, I didn't have a good life growing up. But then again, I did, man. It's like everything that I went through, everything that I've been through have made me who I am. And when I look in the mirror, I'm happy. And that's all I want for you, man. I want you to look in the mirror and feel good about yourself. Because if you don't, it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else but you. Whatever you went through, you can write this down. Everything that happens to serve me. I'm going to say it again. Everything that happens to serve me. Everything that you've been through, everything that you're going through, all of it is to make you a better person, a better man. If you've been born a man, I should have started this podcast out like that. Let me go back and start over again. Not happening. Look, man, if you've been born a man, it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift to be born a man. It is. No offense to any woman. It's your job to find a good man and train him, right? For lack of better words, my wife put up with me for 38 years now, and it's been hard. She's made me the man that I am. And it wasn't easy for her. God bless her. Oof. But as a man, you need to find that. It's the yin yang. It's the balance. It's the everything. We need to balance each other out. A good man needs a good woman, because a good man will kill himself real quickly. And I don't mean with a gun. I mean the shit that we do will get us motorcycles, and a good man will be dead soon if you don't have a woman to throw a rope around him and lasso him in and let him dream as much as he can, but be there, let him fall. Because I just told you earlier, right? Your job as a man is to wake up every day and see how many times you can fail. Because that's the only way you're going to find your limits. And it's a good woman that's going to be there every time to help you up. Period. I've studied the discipline. At the end of this book, you'll find a list of some of the books that have helped me grow as a man, a leader, and a provider. Don't skip it. Build your own library. Feed your mind the same way you train your body. The same way I'm going to tell you over these podcasts what to eat to nourish your body. Those books in the back of this book are to feed your mind. The good book, the Bible says, feed your mind with words. That's how you're going to build the strength that lasts. This is not a book about relationships or romance. It's about you becoming the best man you can be in every area of life. The kind of man your family can count on. The kind of man your son would want to become. The kind of man your daughter would be proud to marry. So let's get started. Let's start at the beginning. Next week, we're going to talk about a man's core mission, protect and provide. That's what it's about. And that started because I'm mentoring several men throughout my life of years of teaching martial arts. But last year, and I knew I was making a move from California to South Carolina, and there were some young men that I wish I had more time to spend with, more time to pop them in the back of the head. That's what I miss, right? That's what I miss, putting them in a chokehold, putting them in an arm bar, wrist lock. So I was going to write down, I grabbed a piece of paper and I thought I was going to write down a couple of things that I would want to share with them if I'm not going to be there. And I thought, well, if I had a son, what would I write down type of thing? So that one page turned out to be 10 different pillars that turned into be a book. And I kept going back and forth with like what's if I had 30 seconds in an elevator and a young man asked me, what's it about, sir? What's the main thing, man? It kept going back. As a man, what do I believe our core is? And everything kept funneling back to those two words, protect and provide. As a man, you're born to protect and to provide. That's just it, man. That's it. And it's pretty simple. Be nice to people. You watch the old movie of Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, and be nice. They're going to get in your face. Be nice. They're going to talk shit to you. Be nice. They're going to do this. Be nice. Until it's time to not be nice. And that's why I said you've got to learn to defend yourself. Protect means defend yourself, but not just physically. Protect yourself mentally. There's so much misinformation in the world today. The internet is both good and bad. You can get a lot of great information, but you can get a lot of bad information. The government is not here to protect you. No one is coming to save you. All right? Stick around, man. Share this video with someone you think needs it. Every week, I'm going to be trying to post another video on Thursdays. I eventually want these to be live once we get going. I want to bring in other people, debate them. It's not rocket science. You get up every day, you be the best person you can be. You become better than you were yesterday. You help as many people as you can. I have a firm belief that we're here to serve other people, period. That's it. You're here to serve people. You got to learn how to provide for yourself, provide for your family. That means you got to earn money. You can do that working for someone. You can probably make more money working for yourself if you do it the right way. Money's not the most important thing in the world, but it's up there with oxygen. Trust me. I've had money and I've not had money. It's better to have money. People who say money's not important, be wary. They'll lie about other things. God bless you for watching. Until next week, protect and provide. Make today better than yesterday. Make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. I'm going to leave you with my mission statement. I wrote this over 35 years ago, and I try to live it every day. My mission statement is to humbly touch and enhance as many lives as I can for God while I'm here, so that when I'm gone, those lives will continue to touch and enhance the lives of others. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Protect and provide.